In this video, we're going to talk about sum and difference of cubes. Before we do that, I want to multiply this binomial times this trinomial. So I'm going to use the distributive property and set it up as such. So I will now use the distributive property to multiply, and when I do that, I get this. Now, notice the 3x squared subtract out, and the 9x's subtract out, and that leaves me with x cubed plus 27. The result of the product of this binomial and trinomial is the sum of two cubes. So I'm going to rewrite it now as such. If we reverse the statement, we obtain the factorization of x cubed plus 8, which I will write now. Notice the binomial and the factorization x plus 3 consists of the terms that we cubed to get the x cubed and 27. The trinomial results from a special pattern which is shown. The pattern also applies to the difference of two cubes. So the sum and difference of two cubes, well, the sum of cubes is a cubed plus b cubed is the same thing as a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. And the difference of two cubes is a cubed minus b cubed equals a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Now, how do you remember the signs for sum and difference of cubes? Well, that is SOAP, and that represents same sign, opposite sign, always positive. So when I take a look at the sum of cubes, notice it's the same sign as the original, the opposite sign of the original, always positive. For the difference of cubes, it's the same sign, the opposite sign, and always positive. Okay, so I want to be able to factor completely. So, first question, is there a greatest common factor I can take out of the two terms other than 1? In this case, that's no. D cubed, that's a perfect cube root, and so is 125. So I'm going to write this on the side. So D times D times D is D cubed, and 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So I'm going to write out the difference of cubes formula. And now let's plug in what I know. A minus B, that is D minus 5. A squared, well, that's D squared. A times B, that's 5D, plus 5 squared. So underneath, I'll simplify 5 squared, which is 25. Notice the trinomial here, this is not factorable. There are no factors that I multiply to give me 25 and add up to be 5. So once I use the difference of two cubes formula, I will not be able to factor any further. All right, let's take a look at the next example. First question, is there a greatest common factor I can take out of the two terms other than 1? In this case, that's no. This is a perfect cube root, and this is a perfect cube root. So 27, that's 3 times 3 times 3, and m cubed I can write as m times m times m. 8n cubed, well, that's the cube root of that is 2n. So let's write the sum of cubes formula. So a plus b, that's 3m plus 2n. A squared, so that's 3m, quantity squared. A times b, that's 6mn, plus I'll take 2n and square it. So I'm going to simplify. 3m times 3m is 9m squared. And 2n times 2n is 4n squared. Again, I cannot factor the trinomial or the binomial any further, and we're done here. Okay, let's take a look at the next example. Is there a greatest common factor I can take out of the two terms other than 1? In this case, I can factor out or divide out a 3y. Remember, 3y divided by 3y is 1. Go inside the parentheses. Y cubed, that's a perfect cube root, and so is 1. So the cube root of y cubed is y. The cube root of 1 is 1. So now, again, I'm going to write the difference of two cubes formula. So a minus b, that's y minus 1. That's y squared. Y times 1 is just y. And then 1 squared is 1. Now, do not forget the greatest common factor that you factored out. We've now completely factored. Okay, the other example I want to take a look at. Is there a greatest common factor I can take out of the two terms other than 1? In this case, that's yes. I can divide out a 2. Take a look inside the parentheses. 27 is a perfect cube root because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Cube root of 1,000 is 10. The cube root of w cubed is w. So again, I will write out the sum of cubes formula. So a plus b, that is 3 plus 10w. So I'll write 3 squared. 3 times 10w is 30w. And then I'll take 10w and square that. Okay, so simplify. 3 squared is 9. And 10w squared is 100w squared. Again, don't forget the greatest common factor. That's part of your factored answer here.